Good morning, everyone. It is approximately quarter till 4 a.m. EST here on the East Coast, U.S. Coming to you live from the farm, off the grid and off the chain. So, as the title says, progress check. So let's just hop right into it and see what we got cooking. As you guys all know, I haven't been able to stream or anything lately. Any gameplay because it starts lagging real horribly or whatever. But I just wanted to show you guys my progress and things so far, and I wanted to check on progress of a good buddy of mine. Wolf Blood 7, in case y'all don't know, go check him out. Young Bud puts out plenty of great content, and go there, leave a like, and if you're digging the content that he's putting out, please subscribe. Enjoy the stuff with the rest of us. So here's my shock train build. Like, a lot of people don't have them, but it's starting to give them away to new players. Wolf Blood 7 won like 3 of these or whatever. So somebody left in the somebody left in the comments, about his Amugi. So I want to show shock trains and Amugi and make some suggestions off that play there. And of course, I want a nice reviver drone there in case he gets stuck in the air and gets taken down to 0. The reviver brings him back. And of course, as long as he's in the air, he has a reflector, as long as he's still in the ability. And I have the stealth landers, the sisterhood twins. They give you stealth, and then they restore 8% health, and that's on upon landing. And Wonder Worker Harpy gives me 5.7% health back when I get up in the air. Besides, I have armor expert, and stubborn warrior. Okay, I might end up changing out the stubborn warrior, but we'll see when gold provides. So you notice I've been blown a lot. But along with the shock train, I have my dragoon, which has pure alpha damage. It has a very long reload at 12 seconds, but the alpha damage cannot be beaten for a weapon of this tier. I wish I had the SE edition of these, but I built my own. They recently got a buff, so this is pretty good. It fires fairly quickly as long as you have it fully loaded. Other than that, that's why it's on this bot and not a brawler. You can't do a mid-range brawler with these because they can't brawl. Okay, so these are good for snipers and things of that nature, which basically, if you're popping up mid-range to fire at some AoE of Harpy, this is pretty much good. And I'm trying to build 2 on my other account for my Siren, because with the shield breaker Yang Li, it does pretty well. Better than the decays, in fact. So shock train, an undervalued weapon, but for some reason, ever since the nerf, even something seems wrong with the damage, even though it's supposed to be registering high alpha damage. 8 seconds on the reload, but mind you, that's not a full charge. So basically, you're gonna dump off 1 full one and 1 small charge. That's the minor time that you can fire these at. They need to do something about that nowadays, because shock train has nothing on these new crazy weapons, and to still be this tier, it's crazy. But it does have it's sort of like an AoE, but it has it's a chain link weapon. Matter of fact, the striker is based off of the shock train. A lot of people don't know that, newer players. I just wanted to update you and let you know about it. So this is a nice, good setup to pop up. Crowd control basically is what this is. All right, because you're getting the AOE, the firestorm from here. Granted, it's only 600 direct damage, but you gotta figure it does um, bypass that any defenses with explosion. Um, and also, there's a multiplier of anyone else exploding around you. So that's just the direct damage, by the way. So the explosion damage is totally different, and that's what you want the bomb effect to go off. Mind you, it only has a 70 percent blocker, but it does give 50% damage back, which is good. So it returns high damage back, but I wouldn't stay up in the air as composed to like as compared to like a siren where the numbers are different. Where it's not giving back as much because it's only giving back 40% damage, but it's blocking 80%. So the return damage, even though because it's blocking more and returning less, is not as bad when someone shoots the siren, but you are returning back real good damage when they shoot your harpy. But also you have to be closer range. So just be aware of that when you're running that. I would not advise putting your shock trains on your Amugi. What I would do is I'll see you put Tulus on there, but let's take some. First of all, I'll show my progress, and then let's take a look at what is possible. So I do have the Daltaki drone and the cooldown LP gives you 3 extra seconds. Harold, Han. And I have Tough Guy Mugi to give me more um, endurance because the health pool on this is very low. Of course, I have the Yoji, the Ardent Yoji, and the Ardent Tasia. But let's do some exploration as to what could be possible for you besides Tulumba. So, besides Tulumba, I would go with Punisher T. Because as long as you can teleport back through your portal before you have to do that 10-second reload, that's not bad. I would also choose over the Tulumba the Mallet T, because the Mallet T also has the range where you can stay out of range or you could use them up close. But once again, you have to remember that 10-second reload. I would not go with Orkins on it due to the high reload. Hydras, I would only be using them at low level. Tulumbas, I would only use them out of necessity. Now the Terrans are more a brawler's weapon, so I wouldn't go with them either. Before I had Tages, I had and stuff like that. I was running the ballistas on it. Now I would recommend that. Once again, not a brawler. I wouldn't go with the storms. Vortexes would not be bad option on it. But if you get caught during your reload when you're like say flying in and then teleporting, you're gonna have an issue with that. The Coronas, once again, I wouldn't recommend. The Scourges, I would recommend for it. The Scotty, I would recommend for it. The Wasp, I would recommend for it very highly, simply because you're in stealth. You can get up there, you can run Shield Breaker and put a lot of DOT right into them. The Pulsar, I would recommend for it, and the Fainter, I would recommend for it. Now, as far as the Jaw Claw Talon and stuff, I'd say that's a better option than Tulumba's, simply because the damage output is going to be a lot greater, even though you have to be a lot closer. But once again, you can hop up and fly into stuff. So as far as the cryo type rockets, I would rather go with the Tulumbas besides the cryo rockets, simply because of the range and the higher damage output. and the shorter reload. So that's my advice to you, brother. Hey, welcome in, Pauls. Thank you for stopping by. Alright, so I'm running the Cruel Orochi here. I don't have hammers, I don't have incinerators. I only got one of these, but the good point is I have SE, but also everyone knows who sees me on my main account, Vulture, know that I love running the shotguns with the rockets, simply because the rockets may not have the alpha damage. I mean, they have good burst damage, but they also have sustained fire ability. And what you're really going for with the mix set is bomb effect. So, I never see nothing wrong with mixing, you know, um, uh, effect shotguns with effect rockets. So, but you have a lot of people that would rather have a full set of one or the other, um, and or they run these with other types of weapons. You want that bomb effect to stack. It's going to do more damage. The bomb effect is going to do more damage than anything this shotgun by itself can do. Now, granted though, the rockets, as long as they stack, they have burst effect. But these are pure alpha burst damage, and then you have to go into your 5-second reload. So while you're doing that, your bomb effect usually drops, which bomb effect rockets do not allow that to happen. Here I'm going with, of course I could go with all freeze effect rockets, but instead I'm going with the Devastators, because if you get a chance to hit somebody with this, they do great damage and they won't be able to recover. So I also go with the Armadillo on this one, being as though it already has high defenses and ball mode. And of course, I'm going with the Immune Amplifier and Repair Amplifier. Oh, I forgot to show this on here. But this will be my late runner. But also here, I'm using the Discus here for, as it gets captured, it speeds up more, being as though this is a very fast buy, rolling at 60, even at level 5. That would also work on here if I didn't have the Armadillo drill. Now, of course, here everyone knows the Sonics and all that stuff, but I only got one Fatal Havoc. But I'm going with the Ardent Sting to stack the DOT effect here, which is going at 300 per second. And the Ardent Sting is doing 100 per second. But it does like a burst of like 6 or 7. So you're really doing like 600 or 700 DOT there. Stacking per second, as combined with this, so it doesn't hurt that I put that on there. And also I went with the Rush rockets on this one. As you guys know, it slows down the recovery of gray damage. It increases, so that goes well with the shotgun thing. And also it takes down their defense points as well. The Rust rockets do. So all that'll help with me putting gray damage, DOT, and rust effects, and also running the whiteout with it, because the EMP stops them from using their skills and abilities. I forgot to comment on as to why I'm running this setup on here, is because, let me go back there, they all have high reloads. And even though it's nice to run nice burst weapons like shotguns on here, the bomb effect shotguns, for real, they actually run a lot better on brawlers that can take advantage of the alpha burst damage again 5 seconds later. Whereas you're rolling around in your skill rolls mainly in your defensive stuff. That's why the build is so defensive, as the Armadillo adds 2 defense points per beacon captured. and also it takes forever for these rockets to get a full clip, and these are pure alpha um, guns as well. I mean, rockets as well. Everyone knows, like, they do very good if they're fully charged, but trying to sit there and brawl, nah. Now you can brawl with Sonics, but everyone knows your main damage is gonna be when you're fully loaded. And you see the high reload on to get a full clip for both of these are like 16 and 17 seconds each. So that is my reasoning behind that, because you can spend 17 seconds in a defensive mode, and you see my defenses there stacked, and then things will go well right there. So I got a clan, and the clan I joined was the clan that Wolfblood7 decided to join. So let's check his progress before we're taking a small break from me, and then we'll get back to it. He's in silver 3 at the moment. Of course, he has a high win rate simply because, you know, he knows a lot better now than what he did back then. So he's coming along very well. He's running rush rockets with plasma with a lockdown on the Lancelot, I guess, to keep people in range. The Natasha double exos with pinatas. Okay. Pinata Thunder. Okay. Mercury Pinata Thunder. My thing would be, even though you got 2 Exoduses, the Natasha is not going to keep up. Alright? So, my advice would be to run pin with the Thunders on the Mercury. Okay? So you can fire at 500, you know, if you have to. But I would rather run Thunder pin, Exodus Pinata. Okay? And of course, I would keep the Turin and the Talon together, as their range is the same. So you'd have one Exodus sitting back, but that would be my advice, you know, to you, because I would be like Thunder pin, so no one would dare come close with double Thunders, but at the same time you can reach out and touch them at 500, and even though it's weakening, because Natasha is probably your slowest spot here, and the pin will keep up with the range, and its clip reloads faster than the pinata, and you don't have to level it. You can just keep it at level 5 like that, so you're concentrating on leveling your other things. And I look into my inventory as to the Telomathane. Also, okay, so you won those shock trains or whatever, but the Mugi's flight time is better off taking advantage of weapons like the Gothic Fainter, okay, that can, you know, get their clip off while you're up in the air. So I'd be looking into that kind of build, you know, because you can hold them still and you got a spare. So looks good to me though. And of course, when you hit level 21, your Titan thing will kick in. And of course, you already probably know solid advice about that. So we'll, you know, revisit as you level up. So now back to my breakdown. Oh, I forgot to break down the Titan for this anger. Sorry, everyone. Thanks for showing up on me, Con, Some Shade Demon, and 009. So, by the way, check out my man Somche. He does have his own channel. Please leave a like, and if you digging the content he put out, please subscribe. Same thing with my man Hamid Khan. He puts out a lot of great content across a plethora of games. Out, leave a like, and and trust me, not if you like his content, you will like his content. Just go there and please subscribe. So I'm running a more ranged build on the Indra. A lot of people use the Indra to go in with, but currently I don't have enough modules to do anything major, as to make this a brawler yet, because I'm actually have everything else on my Lucha. So the Panther Gruel reaches out to 500, so does that, and so does that. And when I receive return fire, I can use Indra's skill to go, dark, and then also, I use the other skill, the lasso, as a defense instead of offensive weapon. And to the other hanger, we'll start off with the Titan on my second hanger. So here's why I chose, to put all my modules on to my Lucha, simply because it's slower. It can't go, it can't run away. So the thing about it is, I might as well put 2 lockdowns with an incinerator, and I have a self-fix unit, so I'm constantly healing. I have a Titan anti-control. I have an onslaught reactor for more damage, and grand balance reactor for more damage and more health, as he's has a big health pool. He's gonna need it, and that's one reason why you have the ultimate defense as well on this Titan. So that's a great thing. So you jump in, you lock them down, you keep them within range of that incinerator, and you just keep on healing. So I'm doing the Evo Life Challenge, and here is what I'm using for Evo Life. I'm using Ancile and Stellar Prismas. Of course, I could run another 1100 range weapon on here, but I prefer my Ancile, simply because you have those weather chickens and the new sniper weapon. Somebody's gonna have to shield break you, is the way I'm putting. I'm running this with the Daltaki, and I'm running my cloaking unit. So even the shield breakers, you can't do stealth and shield breaking. I mean, you can, but it's very unlikely most bots are able to do it. Okay. So I use my cloaking unit in case they do that, but I have tons and tons and tons of shielding, simply because I have 77,000 Aegis, and I have 131,000 Ansel, and this is highly shielded bot. It does well. Also, I had the Gothic Fainters and the Scorcher and Freedom Ace. Once again, I don't want to explain the reason why I'm running mixed set, is because, of course, I don't have everything for a full set. So, because if I had everything for a full set, I'd be running 2 Maces with 2 Scorchers instead of Fainters back here. But the Fainters back there, and I'm running a glider simply because it takes time for this thing to drop out of the sky, or somebody charge you good, and you don't want somebody to take you out that quick, so you hit the glider, which it does repair. And of course, I'm keeping the shield breaker pilot on here, even though I have the other 2 pilots. He still turns out to be the best. And I'm running overdrive unit on here, so that he's kicking out more damage, because don't forget, this is a Titan killing bot, so his weapon does more damage to Titan. So if I'm highly damaged and I'm determined to put in damage on a Titan, it will happen. Also, rolling with the auto hanger, cruel angler, but I've run this with the spears. I've run this with the magnums. It does pretty well with both, but just doesn't do it just right. Um, with all the magnums and stuff, basically what I run into is people try to keep out of range of my 350 range, and what stops them is the rockets. Now you ask me, well, why don't you go full rush rocket? Yeah, full rush rocket is okay, but it's not kicking out the same damage as Redeemer overall. Okay, so 42, 49, and of course I do have these um, 2000 or whatever. But mind you, like I said, they keep you vulnerable or whatever, and they make you vulnerable and make you more susceptible to grade damage. Now, when I run the Redeem on here, which I told you is a powerhouse, I'm going to fire that thing so fast. I can get off like 2 clips of this before they empty their first clip. With the auto, 2-3 clips before the claws even finish. So that's why, he has Gunsmith Redeemer doing 1.9% more damage. But mind you, once again, he's firing 35% faster. And of course, he also has an Ansel producing drone. On to the next. I put my spears here, because spears you need to keep going into stealth or have more endurance. So I'm running the atomizer to stop regen and to tear down shields that you would waste shots on with the spear. So this turns out to run very, very well. And of course I'm running with Marie, and I'm running it with the beak, so that when I take high hits of damage, he goes stealth. So a lot of times this does work, with the exception of some long range players and some Titans who run that unit. So I'm running immune amplifier, repair amplifier, nuke amp on here, which I normally run anti-control on mine, but I'm running a nuke amp for the spears. I'm sorry, I forgot to show my mods on here, which he's running a repair amp. And last but not least, we are running the cryptic hazards with ion on the Fujin. And this actually does okay until I have someone really focus on me, simply because this has one of the strongest Ansels in the game. If I have an energy person focus on me, I'm gonna die fairly quickly, but he does alright since his health pool is decent for most shielded bots. Most shielded bots do not put out that kind of health, 155,000, and his speed is at 47, so not the slowest, but nowhere near fast. 174,000, and also the Ansel on this regens very fast. And of course you can speed up by changing your modes or whatever. So of course, as hazards do, and I'm using 5% damage cryptic, the damage stacks with radiation weapons, and of course the third shot deals up to 200% damage. That's good for constant fire or whatever, but for taking down Aegises and all that stuff, things that I can't run through, or even cracking armor. Even though this is an energy weapon, when you're putting out 31,000 damage every 10 seconds, you're gonna crack some armor and you're gonna take down most Aegises. And this is accompanied by the radiation, so it does pretty well. It's a little inconvenient that you do have to reacquire your target lock though. And I'm also running overdrive on this, so of course I get a lot of damage with the Manny Pilot, which gives you an automatic 1.5% damage for every 10% of your ability. 1.5% damage off the top, and it also gives you a damage bonus for every 10% of your durability that you lose, and I'm running Armor Expert on it as well. So I'd like to thank you all for coming out and checking me out this morning on my update. Of course, everyone knows I do not have any picks. I hope you guys go out and check out my main man, Terra Road. He puts out a lot of content across a plethora of games as well. He is the leader of my clan, UC1 Underground channel. Everyone, check him out. Leave a like. And if you're digging his content, please subscribe to his channel. And I will see you all out there on the battlefield. Of course, this is like the longest stream I've ever done. So also check out the top 5 across my banner on my webpage. And you guys know I don't have any picks on the battlefield. I will see you all out there. Love, peace, happiness. Take care of yourselves, everyone.